When the holidays start to feel a bit repetitive, reach for a Sprite Winter Spiced Cranberry and put your twist on tradition. A bold cranberry and winter spice flavor fusion, Sprite Winter Spiced Cranberry is a refreshing way to shake things up this sipping season. And only for a limited time. Sprite. Obey your thirst.
Tito's Handmade Vodka is America's favorite vodka for a reason. From the first legal distillery in Texas, Tito's is 6 times distilled till it's just right. And naturally gluten-free, making it a high-quality spirit that mixes with just about anything. From the smoothest martinis to the best Bloody Marys. Tito's is known for giving back, teaming up with nonprofits to serve its communities and do good for dogs. Make your next cocktail with Tito's. Distilled and bottled by 5th Generation Inc., Austin, Texas. 40% alcohol by volume. Savor responsibly.
Welcome to the Living Artist Podcast. I'm your host, Preston M. Smith. Hey everybody, welcome to the Living Artist Podcast. I'm Preston M. Smith, at PMS Artwork everywhere on internet land and socials. I want to thank you for landing on this podcast. Whether you're a professional artist, just getting started in the art world, a collector of art, or just consider yourself a creative person, this podcast has something for you. I like to think of it as a fun way to rant and talk to other creative people about living the life of an artist, surviving and getting ahead in the art world, and enjoying your life. But most importantly, not waiting until you're dead to make it happen. All right, let's get started.
Yeah. Ooh, it's yeah. It's Floorcast. This time, we're just talking about the Floorcast. Ooh, yeah. It's Floorcast.
Oh man, I didn't think we were actually gonna do this. On the other hand, less work for me. Suckers.
Welcome back to the podcast, everybody. Yes, welcome back to another Floorcast. While my health continues to elude me, I thought I would talk about something a little different today. Every once in a while, you just get inspired by other artists, and I have a lot of inspiration that I can draw from in life. And I figured we are coming to a close with 2025. And people are starting to, set their sights on 2026 and what they're going to do, all of their New Year's resolutions and all that. I thought it would be fun to just do a couple quotes, some of my favorite quotes from some of my favorite quote unquote artists. I say quote unquote because I use that in a very broad term. 3.5 of these people, at least that I know of, are painters. But the other, 1.5 are just extremely creative, influential artists in a different realm. So let's get into it. I'm going to start with, I'm dropping things on the floor. I'm dropping myself and things on the floor. That's my quote. No, the first quote I'm going to start with is Vincent van Gogh, because he's one of my old inspirations from, when I started out painting. And this quote says, "Great things are done by a series of small things brought together." That sounds very simple, but there's really a lot of wisdom to that, because we've talked about this many times. And I think today, in today's culture, there's this whole tendency to want to achieve something big very quickly and with one thing. Like look at viral videos, for example, on TikTok or YouTube, or like a viral post. You want to just catch something and, catch lightning in a bottle and then just blow up. But I think you'll find, and I think most people find who end up going on to having great careers in any form, is that success is built on many different layers and building blocks. And a lot of the pieces really you can only see when you look back. It's like building a body of work as an artist. You're not going to get famous off of one painting. I mean, you might get famous off of a painting at some point, but it comes from that being in the lab, being in the studio, creating over and over and over again, and honing your craft and just becoming a great artist through practice and through being there. So that goes for building your art career as well. I mean, you try to do stuff all the time. I used to think like, if I just get this one article or I get this one gig, it's going to set me up for life. But really, it's a series of doing little things and building the resume and, just building off of that. And people start to see, oh, wow, look at this. This artist has done this. They've done this. They've done this. And they start to trust you more, and it builds your career little by little behind the scenes. So I think that really applies very well to anybody who's trying to achieve something great in life. Let's move on, because I don't want to make this like super long today. We're going to go to Frida Kahlo, one of my other favorites, back when I was painting a lot of pop surrealism stuff and doing a lot of self-portraiture and weird portraiture. People used to be like, why are you painting so many self-portraits of yourself? Well, here's Frida Kahlo. I'll let her say it better than I can say it. I am my own muse. The subject I know best. And that is very true. It is the subject you know best, and you are your easiest, access to a model as well. Like I used to just go, you know what? I'm just going to paint myself because, first of all, it's a point of self-discovery throughout the process. The more you paint yourself, the more you get into that, the more you get to know yourself. And then you get to know yourself on another level through the painting process. But also, you are the person who knows yourself best. So why not use that? Why not explore that? Why not put that into your work? And why not use that as, not only just painting yourself literally, but also putting yourself into your work so unabashedly that it shines through. That is what becomes cathartic to people. That is what becomes impactful. I've talked about that many times on the podcast. Being so true to yourself and being so open, that makes it more impactful for, the viewer as well. Okay, we're going to move on to David Bowie. Of course, I'm going to put a Bowie quote in here. And that quote is a little long, but bear with me. It goes, always go a little further into the water than you feel you are capable of being in. Go a little bit out of your depth. And when you don't feel that your feet are quite touching the bottom, you're just about in the right place to do something exciting. I was going to do a David Bowie impression, but I don't want to fumble that and not do it justice. But I think that is great advice for life, obviously for art mainly, but for life in general. I think, even like when you're talking about getting well or, getting stronger or getting more resilient, it's like a hormetic stress. The more you push yourself out of your comfort zone to grow, the more of a hormetic stress that is for you. And the more your body grows, whether that's your resilience, your muscles, your mitochondria. But in the art world, for sure, like if you're just staying in your comfort zone, that might be okay for a little while, but it's going to get stale. It's going to get stale to you, and it's going to get stale to your audience. The more you push yourself a little bit further, a little bit out of your comfort zone, not so you're just, floating in the abyss or like out in space untethered, but where you're pushing yourself a little bit out there, you stretch yourself. I think those are the moments where you find what you're made of. For me personally, I've had so many of those moments where I try something new and I get out there and I'm like, oh man, this isn't working. But through working through that process of, I don't know what I'm doing. Is this working? I always find a way to make it work by sticking to it, sticking into the lab, and then it ends up becoming something greater than I thought I was going to be able to create. And it ends up being one of my favorite paintings, or even like a milestone painting, like a painting that takes me to a next level that I build off of. It's always those moments where you're pushing yourself a little bit out of your comfort zone and you're stretching yourself as an artist that you really find out what you're capable of. So I love that quote. Let's move on to Alanis Morissette. I love Alanis Morissette. Here's her quote. I found the more truthful and vulnerable I was, the more empowering it was for me. So this is taking that other one a step further of, being so vulnerable that, it's cathartic or it's impactful to other people. Well, it can be, like she's saying, it can be more empowering for you as well. Because I think there's a lot of people who are hiding a bit of themselves from themselves in their work and in their lives. And you cannot really be an authentic person or an authentic artist if you're not being bold and sharing something, vulnerable and truthful about yourself, something that maybe people don't even know. I think when people tap into that, that's when their career and that's when their success even opens up. It's like a byproduct of being truthful and being very vulnerable. And as she's saying, it becomes more empowering to the artists themselves because you start to realize like, yes, I can be bold. What else can I do? So I love that quote as well. We're going to end with one from another painter who has kind of been controversial as far as like people don't like, people hate. people don't really understand until they understand. And that's Jackson Pollock. And this one's a little bit more vague, but I love it. It's kind of from a different angle. He says, if people would just look at the paintings, I don't think they would have any trouble enjoying them. It's like looking at a bed of flowers. You don't tear your hair out over what it means. And that's in the Pollock movie too. And I love that quote because it's funny. I think sometimes we get a little bit too precious, with our art. Sometimes we get a little bit too in our own heads about what things mean. And I think art almost is for the viewer to interpret. You can leave that up to them to find and inject meaning into it. But he's saying here, like, as a viewer, you can actually leave all your stuff behind and just enjoy the painting. You don't need to tear your hair out about what it means. You can just enjoy it. And I think that goes for his work, especially the drip painting technique that he evolved into. But I think that goes for any art as well. And I think it's why I've had problems in the past with some conceptual art, because it's like the over-intellectualization of art. Overthinking, being too cerebral. For me, sometimes that can really make your art feel dead when you've overthought it, when you've become too technical, when you've become too cerebral. So I love that because it's like, as an artist, you can apply that to yourself. Get out of your own way, get into the flow state, just create something in the moment, being present, and don't really tear your hair out or be the critic that silence yourself. Like, what does this mean? I have to say something that's impactful. I think most times, like everything in life, things become more impactful the more you get out of your own way and the more you kind of surrender yourself to the present moment. But that goes for people who are enjoying your work as well, or going to see you in a gallery or coming to your studio. I think sometimes people come in and they want to make meaning of it. I'll leave the podcast with just this one story of going to see an artist and contemporary. He's a little bit older than me, but somebody that I, admire as an artist. I went and saw his solo show opening in Culver City, and the work was great. I mean, it was just a great show. Every piece was phenomenal. It was a cohesive show. It was a coherent show, but it also had a lot of varied abstract paintings in it. And the funny thing is, it's a technique that is not really so much about the mastery of, using the technique to create imagery. It's more of making a feeling out of it. But I saw people kind of trying to interpret the style of painting and some of the texture in the painting and trying to find imagery in that. And there's nothing wrong with that, but it like misses the point. It's kind of like trying to inject meaning into something that maybe isn't really there. I don't think the artist meant to do that. It doesn't mean it's not valid for that person. If that's their window in to enjoying the art, then that's wonderful. But it also doesn't mean that that's what the art has to be about. You don't have to find imagery, or you don't have to find meaning in something to make it be impactful or beautiful. It can just be what it is. It can be just visually stunning and emotionally stunning and, technically stunning without having to interpret it too much or over intellectualize it. So we're going to leave it at that for today, everybody. Going to get back to some treatments as always. Hope you liked this one. The holidays are coming up. Hope you're making some last minute sales, and hope you're staying sane as always. Let's try to do our best to finish out this year strong. And if you're like me and you're fighting an illness, I am sending you strength and good thoughts and positive energy to get through it. And as we get into 2026 coming up here, let's set our sights on being the best artists and human beings possible this next year. So take care of yourselves, take care of everybody else out there as always, and we'll see you next time on the next episode, everybody. All right, bye-bye.
It's Flowcast. Everybody. We'll see you back here at another Flowcast. And I promise. Wait, what the fuck?
This has been the Living Artist Podcast. Thank you so much for listening. I just want you to know that I appreciate you being here, and I'm grateful to be in your ears. Your art and creative life on this planet is meaningful, so thank you for sharing it with me. If you like this podcast, whatever platform you're listening to it on, please subscribe and share it with your friends. You can also leave me a positive review to show your support. This helps me to reach more people with the algorithmic magic and keep the show going strong. If you want to see more of what I do and check out the art that I create, you can visit my website at www.pmsartwork.com, or follow me on social media everywhere at PMS Artwork. That's it for now. See you back here next time.